What's going on YouTube? Welcome back to LTH. My name is Abe, and in this video is the introduction to our new series, How to Become an Expert Within Proxmox. So why should you learn Proxmox? Well, Broadcom bought out VMware a couple years ago, and it's kind of gone downhill, and we've seen the implementation of Proxmox only go up. And the point of why we started this channel is to help you guys gain real IT skills to be able to go out in the real world and put information on your resume to help you get those jobs. Right? And so this is the introduction to that series. This series looks like it's going to be roughly 25 to 40-ish videos based on what I've kind of already built out. And this is kind of getting back to the roots of this channel of how to do things from start to finish without missing out on any information. So I will cover more here in a minute of who I am and why you should follow this series. But to give you an idea, we're going to cover things in this series like how to install Proxmox itself, how to do host system administration, VM management, container management, storage management, backups, and restoring your stuff, the API, Proxmox VE mobile, a metric server, external metric servers if you're interested in doing that to bring all your stuff into something like graphene, authentication, command line tools, and permissions, as well as some API calling and stuff between nodes. So this series is truly going to get you from knowing nothing or maybe a little bit about Proxmox to knowing everything you need to know about Proxmox to be a infrastructure engineer, to be a Proxmox expert, right? Like maybe you want to go get a job at a company, you want to run all their infrastructure and all their software that the developers create. You're going to be able to do that by the end of this series if they want to use Proxmox. So I have some hardware in front of me. As you guys can see, the cable management on this mini rack is not amazing, but this is my test bench. I unplug things in, I plug things in, I try different things. This is always changing around depending on the series. So this is a little messy compared to my normal rack that's sitting behind me. If you guys have seen that before, let me slide this way. Nice, neat, and organized, and eventually a lot of this stuff I want to go into that rack as well. Okay, so what I want to talk about is that you guys can use any hardware that you have available. Okay, this course will require at least 3 nodes. Proxmox does cluster hardware that's not the same, but it is highly recommended, especially because we're going to be mimicking a enterprise environment that you have 3 exact nodes. So I have 4 Odroid H4 Pluses right here, all running 16 gigs of RAM and the same SSDs. They're exact mirror copies of each other, right? And that will just make this a little bit easier in your environment, but they don't have to be the same. That's why I have things like if you have an extra laptop around, you can use a laptop. If you have something like a Raspberry Pi or like this Radza X4, it's an N100, you can use these. Or if you have some mini computers, which is essentially what these H4 Pluses are, you can use those too. You can use any hardware you have available. A lot of this course you will be able to do or learn about a lot of these technologies on a single node if you can only afford a single node. But if you want to do the full capacity of everything we're going to talk about in this course, you're going to need at least 3 nodes because you need 3 nodes to create a cluster. And even better yet, if you had 5 to build a really strong, robust quorum, according to Proxmox's documentation, that's even better. I'm not even doing that for this course. I am going to just show you how to set it up using 3 nodes. The other stuff in this rack is for other videos within this series, so they're going to be ignored throughout this project. But I just want to give you guys an idea of what this looks like. When I'm in the videos and we're talking and I say like my Proxmox node 1, or you see that on the video, like we're legitimately talking about this one right here. And then if I'm saying I'm installing something on the Proxmox node 2, it's this one right here. And then 3, it's this one right here. And then all of this stuff will be connected to a switch up here. And then these are all just connected to a main switch in my rack. So like this is my little environment. That's it. This node up here, you might be wondering, is a firewall. That's for a different video series, not relevant for us just teaching Proxmox, because your Proxmox infrastructure and stuff will be sitting behind a firewall that might be managed by you as the same team or a different team within your professional environment. But again, that's past the scope of this series. So let's go over to the computer and get on with me introducing myself and a little bit about me so we can get a little bit more personable on this channel. Also, click the links down in the description. We do have the website learntohomelab.com where you can go look at any of the notes for the videos. They'll also be linked on every single video with notes and commands and the timestamp at which we use the command at. And then as well as we have a Discord community server. I know there's some hate around Discord right now. If you're watching this March of 2026, we might have moved to a different platform by the time you're watching this series, depending on when you come across it. But just keep aware of the comments. Check out our website. We're always updating our links there. And then also, we sell shirts. So if you guys really want to support this channel, when you buy a shirt, you're essentially giving me finances as if you were to have watched all my videos 10,000 times, or 10,000 views in total, right? And so we have this little nice embroidered shirt, or we have a nice big printed logo that you can order down below in the description, or again, it's linked on every single article of our website. If you want to support the channel, I also do have the plans for more shirts coming soon. So I'm going to stop blabbering on and let's get over to the computer and let me tell you guys a little bit more about who I am, and then we'll get on with this actual course itself. Here we go, guys. Welcome to the PowerPoint or the introduction to this series. This is only 8 slides. It's not going to be very long, and this series will be a hands-on learning and tutorial base, so don't be afraid. We are not going to kill you with theory, but welcome to the Proxmox VE 9 Master Guide in 2026. By us, Learn to HomeLab, and I'm your host of this series, Abe, the founder and creator of Learn to HomeLab. So, who am I, and why should you listen to me? Well, here's a couple pictures of me to keep you entertained and while I talk, but if you guys know these places, comment down below. I would like to see who can guess the most of these locations correctly, because the first thing you're going to learn about me is I love to travel. So I'm going to break this slide down into 2 sections. My first, professional background, and second, my personal hobbies. I am a Marine Corps veteran, a network engineer, and I have 4 years of cybersecurity experience working for multiple companies that fall into the Fortune 200 rankings. I do also hold a bachelor's degree as well as a master's degree in cybersecurity, and I run this YouTube channel where we're currently sitting around 11,000 to 12,000 subs as of this recording. I have experience again in networking, cybersecurity, coding, hyperscaling, managing cloud environments, and designing complex networks for over 1 million daily users at my full-time civilian job outside of YouTube and my other hobbies. If there's anything else you would like to know, please leave a comment below this video, and do not forget to join our Discord. All the links to our social media and our websites are linked down in the description of every video and at the end of every article on our website, learntohomelab.com. So who am I from a personal perspective outside of my IT background, and I guess why you can decide if you want to listen to me and follow this course or not. But as you can see, again, from these slides, I love to travel around the world at any moment I can, and any penny that I can save, I will for the purpose of traveling. And as a side note, again, I would love to know if you guys have been to any of these places that I have pictured. I also love culture, right? And I love the roots of history and how that can fascinate me. So that's a big reason why I love to travel ultimately around the world. Another thing, I enjoy gaming. I think most of us IT guys and nerds love to game. I like making YouTube content and sharing my experience with others. I played soccer and rugby growing up, and I'm currently certified as a U.S. officials or on the National U.S. Soccer Association as a referee. So I do spend a lot of my time running around to try to maintain my weight by blowing a whistle and pissing people off. I also am a runner. I'm currently getting ready to run a half marathon coming up here in a couple months. So I'm excited for that, and I've done races before in the past. So let's get on to why you are here, but what you are going to learn. So this is a introduction or an overview of all the main things we are going to cover in this course. And I will admit that I've recorded some of these videos, but not all of these videos. So this list may change a little bit. For example, if you look at this list, it shows multiple versions of metrics, 5 to be specific. I'm not going to show you how to set up 5 metric servers, but I wanted to put these on here so you have an idea of what kind of metric systems you could use if you're currently already using one or your company does use one, right? Up to you, right? Depending on what you want to use, / if a company you're working for already uses one, you can see right here that it is covered or not. That was very smooth of me. All right, so some big things we're going to cover in this course is this host system administration, so managing the physical server, CPU, memory tuning, updates, kernel selection, hardware monitoring, power management, NTP setup, etc., as well as VM management. So that's going to be the creation and configuration of resources like CPU, RAM, BIOS, USB pass-through, snapshot cloning, and live migration between nodes. Other things we're going to cover is like network management. So that's going to include Linux bridges, VLAN bonds, Open vSwitch, software-defined networking, firewall integration within our Proxmox environment, and then backup and restore. So we'll have like incremental backups, full backups, scheduling, deduplication, and guest agent backups. Other things we're going to cover is high availability, things like quorum voting, automatic failover, resource migration policies, etc. That will allow you to ensure that resources within your personal time or an enterprise real-world environment, that all your stuff stays online and your customers won't be mad at you. And then we'll cover things like permissions, access control lists, role assignments, propagation rules, effective permission calculations, etc. So the next part of this video is introduction to the Proxmox software stack. And Proxmox VE is a platform to run virtual machines and containers. It's based on Debian Linux, and it's completely open source for maximum flexibility. They've also implemented 2 virtualization technologies, kernel-based virtual machines, or known as KVMs, and container virtual machines, LXCs, kind of like a Docker container. So you can pause right now and you can look at this picture as long or as short as you want, but we are talking from the bottom of this picture up. So we have like the Linux kernel, and then you have things down there like the KVM, AppArmor, C groups, and then you have above that QEMU for virtualization, and then you have a guest OS on top of that, and then your application like your services, OnlyOffice, Jellyfin, Plex servers, Minecraft servers, or whatever are going to be in that VM app location. And then containers do not have that QEMU layer. They're directly hosted on the Debian Linux operating system. And so we can see that layer's missing on the right. And then you get up to services that are ran within the Proxmox hypervisor, like PVE proxy, PVE domain, etc. And then you have user tools on top of that, like the PV firewall, the high availability manager, and all those user tools, which will be found in the Proxmox GUI itself. And some of them you can also use within the command line to control them if it's faster, depending on the situation. So here is some advantages of why you should learn Proxmox and why you should listen to this course. Well, we have things like unique multi-master design. So Proxmox manages your entire cluster from any node without a separate management server. So it's all integrated. We have Proxmox clusters file system. So it's real-time configuration syncing across all your cluster nodes using a database-driven 30 megabyte RAM file system. So essentially what that is saying is you can cluster nodes together, and then they can real-time communicate with each other to configure files or manage files across each other to create redundancy, high availability, etc. We also have things like web-based management interface, complete your cluster control through a single web GUI, no additional management tools needed. Command line, since it is Linux Debian based, we have full access to the command line to do whatever as we please. It's not locked behind anything. There's a great API system with formal JSON schema for seamless third-party integration. There's a ton of tools that will work with your Proxmox environment that you can use to create capabilities for your business or your personal home lab. We also have things like role-based administration, so you can control how many VMs, storage, and node, paths, etc. that users or the machine or third-party pieces of software have access to. So maybe you have different departments within your company, or maybe you have people like your grandparents connecting to your home lab, but you don't want them to only be able to access certain services. We will be able to do that within Proxmox. And we have things like authentication realms, so you can use LDAP, PAM, and built-in authentication with two-factor authentication realm and realm management available. You also have flexible storage. So if you want to use LVM, CFS, Zeph, NFS, iSCSI, and SAN, those are available to you. So if you're one of those server hoarder data nerds and you want to connect your SAN environment or your network attached storage to Proxmox to offload all your data because you don't delete anything, you will totally be able to do that. We also have integrated backup and restore systems like live snapshots with Proxmox backups, server deduplication, and encryption. Again, we're going to cover that, but you can essentially take live snapshots of a virtual machine and it will be locked in time, so you can come back to it if you ever mess up any commands or you're about to perform a risky task and it doesn't work and you want to keep the availability available to the clients or the users who are interacting with that system. You can hurry and roll back within a couple minutes. Take a break, let your heart rate come back down, and then attempt it again if you actually need to upgrade it. And then we have things like flexible networking. So we have virtual networking, right? Linux bridges, VLANs, bonding, software-defined networking. All that stuff is built in to our network or our little cluster if they're all running Proxmox. There's an integrated firewall, and it is distributed stateful with security groups at VM, container, and cluster levels. So you can really control what has access to what. We have hyper-converged infrastructure, so unified computing and storage and networking. That's kind of been mentioned before. And the benefits of HCI with Proxmox. It's scalable, low-cost, open-source infrastructure with centralized administration and no vendor lock-in. So, again, a little bit of a repeat on some of this stuff, but if that means anything to you, then you'll know you want to stick around. If it doesn't, I'm going to teach you. So why is Proxmox open source? Some people may be afraid of this going closed source. Well, Proxmox VE uses a Linux kernel and is based on Debian distribution. The source code of Proxmox VE is released under the GNU Afro General Public License, or Affero, however you want to pronounce that. And this means that you're free to inspect the source code at any time or contribute to the project yourself. Blah, blah, blah. It's going to stay open source. I wouldn't worry about it. Okay, and so our layout, we're using this, and you just saw this a minute ago in the physical form. Really, it is a little bit more complex than this, but we're just using this green part. So we'll have the internet that comes in from the left, and it's going to connect to our switch. And then we're going to use these top 3 server Proxmox nodes for high availability and whatever. And then eventually we will introduce a 4th node for backups. But it is up to you of what videos you do want to use within this series and what videos you don't want to use, because this isn't going to apply to everyone, but I'm going to teach everything. So that is it. Welcome, join the club. You're going to be a extremely enterprise qualified home labber, where your home lab and computing power is going to be way bigger and higher than it needs to be for anything that you're ever going to host, but at least you're going to know how to do it. So let's get on with the rest of this series. In the next episode, I'm going to teach you how to install Proxmox VE version 9 on your first node. So let's get on with the video. My name is Abe, signing off with the introduction to how to become a Proxmox master.